I don't know why I do it, every night. I sit on this lumpy, secondhand couch in my tiny apartment, lights off, phone glowing in my hand, and scroll through old photos like some masochistic ritual. There he is. Ethan. Smiling like a fool in that diner booth, his arm wrapped around me like I was the safest thing he'd ever held. Another photo, us on the beach, his eyes squinting against the sun, but still focused on me like I was the whole damn ocean. I swipe again. He's laughing in this one, holding a sparkler on the 4th of July. I remember taking that picture. He had just told me he loved me more than anything, more than his job, more than his car, more than Sundays with his friends. He said I was his home. And I remember. I laughed. Brushed it off. Because I didn't believe in forever. Not then. Now. Now I'd give anything to go back to that night. I whispered to the empty room, like saying it out loud will hurt less. He would have moved the world for me, and I threw him away. Twice. Twice. Once out of fear. And once out of pure selfishness. The first time I left, I thought I was finding myself. I thought love would wait. I thought Ethan would wait. And when he didn't chase me, I panicked. I cried, begged him to take me back. Promised I was different. That I'd changed. That this time I was ready. And he believed me. God, he really believed me. But I lied. I wasn't ready. I just didn't want to be alone. I needed to be wanted. So I played the part, wore the mask, told the lines, until the real me, flaky, scared, restless, showed up again and tore it all down. And then I left. Again. No big fight. No final words. Just a note on the counter and silence. This time, he didn't come looking. Didn't text. Didn't call. And now. He's really gone. For good. I know what this looks like, some messy girl crying about the guy she used. But this isn't just about heartbreak. It's about what happens when you keep pushing away the one person who loved you unconditionally, until they finally learn to stop coming back. This is the story of how I lost him. How I destroyed something beautiful, twice. And how, when he finally walked away for good, I realized I was never going to get that kind of love again. Ethan and I were together for 3 years. 3 quiet, steady, warm years. He was the kind of guy who remembered my coffee order without asking. Who sent flowers on random Tuesdays just because I mentioned I liked lilies once. Who'd sit through long conversations about my career dreams even when he didn't fully understand them. He was safe. Solid. Loyal to a fault. But also a little boring. At least, that's what I told myself. I was the opposite, ambitious, impulsive, always chasing the next big thing. Promotions. Adventures. Moments that made my heart race. I didn't want to settle. That word terrified me. My friends didn't help. They'd say things like, "Ethan's sweet, but don't you want someone who really challenges you? You could do better, Nat. You're a 10. He's a comfortable 6. At first, I'd defend him. But after a while, I started listening. And worse, I started believing them. Looking back, it wasn't one big fight that ended us. It was something stupid, takeout or travel plans or forgetting to pick up dry cleaning. Something completely forgettable. But I remember how I felt, cornered. Like my life had gotten too small. Like love had become a cage instead of a choice. So I packed a bag and walked out. He didn't chase me. He didn't show up at my door or blow up my phone or beg me to come back. Instead, he sent a single text, "If you ever want to talk, I'm here. But I won't force you to stay where you don't want to be." And then, silence. That silence. It was deafening. At first, I told myself I was finally free. I started going out more. I dyed my hair. I traveled. I downloaded the apps. Reinvented myself. Then came Luca, charming, wild, magnetic. The kind of guy who could make you feel like the only woman in the room, until he was making someone else feel the same. He was everything Ethan wasn't: flashy, unpredictable, exciting. But excitement has a cost. And Luca was expensive in ways I didn't understand yet. Within a month of leaving Ethan, I was tangled in something toxic. But I told myself this was growth. That this chaos meant passion. And still, in quiet moments, especially late at night, I'd wonder what Ethan was doing. I never saw him post anything. Never saw him out. Never heard his name in any mutual circles. He had just vanished from my world. And somehow, that hurt more than if he'd screamed at me or begged me to come back. Because at least that would have meant he still cared. But his silence. It made me wonder if maybe I was the one who had been easy to let go. Luca unraveled just as fast as he came into my life. What started as late-night adventures and intoxicating kisses quickly spiraled into something darker: shouting matches in parking lots, unanswered texts for days, whispered excuses that never added up. And then I found the texts. Not one. Dozens. Messages to other women, jokes about me, lies I hadn't even caught yet. When I confronted him, he smirked like I was a joke. Like my heartbreak was entertainment. "You knew what this was," he said. That night I stood in my bathroom, staring at myself in the mirror, makeup smeared, heart shattered, stomach sick with regret. I had left stability for this. I had left Ethan for this. And the worst part. I knew Ethan would have never done this to me. It was raining that night. A cliché, I know. But I swear the sky mourned with me. I sat on the edge of my bed, shaking, clutching my phone, scrolling through our old messages until I found the last one he ever sent me. "If you ever want to talk, I'm here." I dialed before I could stop myself. It rang once. Then again. And on the third ring, hello. His voice. Calm. Familiar. Still warm. My throat closed up. "Ethan." I whispered, choking on tears. "I messed everything up. I miss you. I made a mistake. I never stopped loving you." A long pause. Then, gently, "Where are you?" An hour later, I stood on his porch, soaked to the bone, hair plastered to my face, heart in my throat. He opened the door like he'd been expecting me. He didn't say a word, just pulled me into his arms and held me while I sobbed against his chest. For a while, that was enough. He didn't rush anything. He didn't ask for explanations. He let me stay in his guest room. He made tea. He gave me space. And slowly, we found our way back. Dinners turned into sleepovers. Sleepovers turned into weekends together. We laughed again. Cooked together. Fell asleep watching the same shows we used to love. But something had shifted. The air felt different. At first, I thought it was guilt. Or maybe fear that I'd ruin it again. But slowly, that fear turned into restlessness. Ethan was still the same, steady, reliable, kind. But I wasn't. I started ghosting him for a day or two at a time. Ignored his calls, picked fights over nothing. I told myself I needed space, that I wasn't ready for something so serious again. Deep down, I knew the truth. The very safety I had come running back to was the same thing I was about to throw away. Again. I didn't plan it. There was no big fight, no final straw. One morning, I just woke up in Ethan's bed, His arm draped over me, breathing softly, and I felt suffocated. It wasn't his fault. He hadn't done anything wrong. He was still showing up for me. Still patient. Still kind. That was the problem. I didn't feel like I deserved it. Worse, I didn't want it. Not then. So I got up quietly, got dressed, scribbled a note on a scrap of paper from the kitchen drawer. I'm sorry. I can't do this again. And I left. No explanation. No goodbye. Just silence. I half expected him to chase me like I had once begged him to blow up my phone, to show up at my door, to demand answers. But this time, nothing. No text. No missed calls. No carefully worded email. Just silence. I waited days. Then a week. 2. At first, I felt relieved. Like I'd dodged a bullet. Like I was free again. But the freedom didn't taste sweet. It tasted empty. Flat. Like chewing air. I told myself I was fine. I went out. Got drinks with friends. Downloaded the apps again. But something gnawed at me. Quietly at first. Then louder. When I finally caved and checked his socials, everything was gone. I wasn't just unfollowed, I was blocked. Across the board. Facebook. Instagram. Twitter. Even Spotify. It hit me in the gut. Not the block itself, but what it meant. He was done. Really done. Not angry. Not bitter. Not even trying to be petty. Just done. I asked a mutual friend if he'd said anything about me. She paused, gave me that look, the one people give you when they don't want to hurt you but don't know how to lie. He's seeing someone, she finally said. It's new. But he seems really happy. I laughed. Not because it was funny, but because I didn't know what else to do. Happy. He was happy. Without me. And for the first time since leaving. I panicked. Not the performative panic I used to weaponize when I wanted him back. Not the shallow tears I knew would tug at his heartstrings. This was different. This was real. A deep, cold, sickening panic in my chest as I realized I'd finally broken the one man who still believed in me. And in doing so, I set him free. I couldn't let it go. I told myself I just needed to hear his voice. One more time. Just a conversation. Closure. Something. I emailed him first. A long, messy message at 2 a.m. No reply. A few days later, I'd met him from a backup account I used to stalk people when I was bored. Still nothing. I even called from a friend's number once. Straight to voicemail. I kept replaying everything in my head, what I said, what I did, how I walked away again like a coward. But this time, the silence wasn't just painful. It was suffocating. So I did something stupid. I drove to his place. It was late. Maybe 9 or 10. I just sat outside for a while, engine running, heart in my throat. The porch light was on. Warm. Familiar. I was about to turn around when the door opened. But it wasn't Ethan. It was her. His new girlfriend. She wasn't stunning, but she had a calmness about her. Soft eyes. A kind smile. The kind of presence that didn't have to shout to be heard. I froze. She stepped out, gently closed the door behind her, and walked toward my car like she already knew who I was. I rolled down the window a few inches. Didn't say a word. She did. Hey. He's not here, she said softly. He's out with friends. But, he told me if you ever came by, I should tell you the truth. I swallowed hard. What truth? She smiled, sad but steady. That he's done. That he's not angry. Just done. Please respect that. My throat burned. I wanted to scream, cry, say something. But I couldn't even breathe. I drove away in silence. And in the safety of my car, 2 blocks down, I broke. Ugly sobs. Shaking hands. Nails digging into the steering wheel. It was over. Not just the relationship. The hope. This wasn't a break. It wasn't space. It wasn't maybe someday. It was the end. A few days later, I ran into a mutual friend at a grocery store. She looked at me with a mixture of pity and caution. He's doing good, she said. Therapy's helped. After the second breakup, something broke in him. But in a way that made him start healing. She paused. Then added, he said he finally realized loving someone doesn't mean letting them wreck you over and over again. It means choosing yourself when they won't choose you. And that was it. The twist. The second chance I begged for was never about me. It was about hope. Hope that I'd grow. That I'd finally be ready. But when I left again, that hope died, and in its place, he found peace. Without me. It's quiet now. Too quiet, sometimes. I live in a small apartment on the edge of downtown. It's not much, bare walls, a creaky floor, a crooked painting I keep meaning to straighten but never do. Most nights, I sit by the window with a glass of wine, phone in hand, staring at the blinking cursor in my notes app. I've written Ethan 100 messages. Long paragraphs, full of apologies, half-truths, emotional confessions. I never send them. Because what's the point? He's moved on. And I don't mean that in the bitter, eye-rolling, he thinks he's moved on, kind of way. I mean it in the quiet, unshakable way that only peace brings. I've seen it in pictures. His smile now, it's different. Not flashy. Not forced. Just, whole. And weirdly, I don't blame him. Because the truth is, I broke him. Twice. The first time, out of fear. The second, out of cowardice. I thought I could always come back. I thought tears would be enough. I thought I could hold someone's heart hostage, drop it when I was restless, then pick it back up when I felt lonely again. But I was wrong. The second time I walked away, I didn't just lose him. I lost the only version of myself that ever felt truly loved. Now, I'm in therapy. Every week, I sit on that stiff gray couch, picking apart the pieces of myself I've spent years ignoring, my fear of intimacy, my need for control, the lies I told myself just to feel powerful in a world that made me feel small. And I keep coming back to one question: why did I destroy the one thing that ever felt real? I don't have an answer. Not yet. All I know is that love like Ethan's doesn't come around often. The kind that's patient. Gentle. Forgiving. Steady. And people like me. We ruin it. Because we don't know what to do with something that doesn't hurt first. Some nights, I still dream about him. In the dream, he turns around. Smiles. Reaches out for my hand. But in the waking world, he's already turned the page. And I'm just a footnote in a chapter he's never going back to. The hardest part isn't that he's gone. It's knowing I was the reason. I thought I could play with someone's love and they'd always forgive me. But love isn't a game. And some people only let you break them once. Before they learn how to heal without you. Tell me, have you ever pushed away the only person who truly loved you, just to see if they'd come back?